Okay, last question, and then we'll go to closing statements. The public safety budget, which is within the budget of the city, yearly budget, that includes the Hermosa Beach Police Department and Hermosa Beach Fire Department, makes up about 65% of the city's yearly budget. The Hermosa Beach Police Department is operating with around 5 to 6 less police officer positions due to budget cuts. The Hermosa Beach Fire Department also recently lost 3 firefighter positions due to budget cuts. What are your top priorities for public safety operations in Hermosa Beach? And that would be Steve.
Well, I think I've heard in the last couple of council meetings that we're down 17. That the head count is down 17 people in the city. Now, 9 of those people are with the fire department and the police department. 9. 55% of the head count down is in the safety areas of the city. Okay, so I really think, and back to what both Peter and Michael talked about earlier in their meeting tomorrow night. Okay, I really think we got to take a hard look at the rest of these budgets and cut and cut and cut wherever we can, okay? Because we cannot allow ourselves to be understaffed in the police department and the fire department. We just can't do it. And when 55% of the head count that we're down for the year is in those 2 areas, that's a very serious problem as far as I'm concerned. Okay. The other thing I think that we should do is and I know it's been talked about, is outsourcing, okay, some of the security at the pier to private companies on very busy weekends, probably maybe in the summer, maybe not so much in the winter. I went for the ride along on Friday, and it was a little crazy there, but it wasn't too busy. But we really need to get down on that pier and protect the residents of this city. And wherever we need to find the money to do that, we have to do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Michael?
Thank you, Al. I'm sort of thinking 3 things as I think of answering this question. I think, A, our staff continues the hard, aggressive, inspired job that has them filling the gap despite being less staffed, has them producing results like the violent crime number that I reported earlier, that was reported and patched, that reduced by more than 50%. I think, A, they have to keep doing what they've been doing. The fire chief, the police chief need to continue their inspired sort of plan for the team. I think the 10% discussion tomorrow and the cash, the revenue that might free up so that we could do specific hiring and over the long term, very strategic hiring. I think sort of similar to what Steve is saying. I would love to see a plan where we sort of have a police force that's staffed for all of our standard year service, and then as the crowds come from April through September, we have some part-time folks. We often do this on holiday weekends. We invite the county in. I'd like to see the county folks come in and do weekends with us. It's certainly what the chief has just been trying over the last couple months because we've authorized him with a little extra money to test that out. I think that's very promising, and that gives him the ability to be much more nimble in when he needs service versus just having staff all the time. So I'm very hopeful about what tomorrow is going to bring for us over the next couple of years.
Thanks, Michael. Pete?
Thank you. First of all, when we talk that 65% of our budget is public safety, there's not a city in the state of California whose budget is not at least 65 to 75% public safety. People demand it. We make it a priority. We go without other services in this community to make sure we have the best police and fire protection available. February of 2010, we went to what we call in the fire department minimum staffing. We had 3 people retire. We have 3 firefighters on the engine or the rig, as they call it, and 2 in an ambulance. That's 5 people on duty at all times. Before, we used to have 6, and what he did was he'd drive another truck out. Couldn't really use it unless they brought it out for a backup in case we needed more people to come in. We mutual aid in this city. with our surrounding neighbors, Manhattan and Redondo. I don't think anyone cares if you have a red truck or a white truck show up at your doorstep when you call 911. They're all very integral, trained with one another. They know what everyone can and can't do. But we have to realize that the city of El Segundo is thinking about going with the county. Well, the county's going to save them like, I don't know, $8 to $10 million a year. They're going to go to minimum staffing and go with mutual aid with the surrounding. So if the chief ever came to the council and said, I need more personnel, believe me, we would do that. All cities are really at minimum staffing right now. The police department, we introduced a new captain in our last council meeting, and we're in the process of hiring 2 new patrolmen that will be on the second tier program to save the city even more money.
Can you summarize?
So I do not overlook public safety lightly. It's a balancing act. Public safety, in my opinion, comes first, but there are also items that the residents of this community would also like to have taken care of, so you have to kind of juggle and make sure things work. But to me, public safety is always first. I will never, and I say this from the heart, I do not want to go with the county system. You lose all control. And I think our emergency personnel are dedicated to this community, and I want to personally thank them for their dedication to the residents and business of our city.
Thanks,
you.
Pete. Haney?
I think it goes without saying that public safety is one of the most important things that City Council makes decisions about. I think I met with the police chief and had various discussions with him about the challenges that his department has. And I think that our police department is doing a great job, but the resources are very limited. And in addition to the limited resources and limited personnel, they're also on a 3-day-a-week schedule. So their availability is limited. I also had a meeting with the chief of the union for the firefighters, and I just found out for the first time that currently our fire department only has 1 ambulance unit that's active at any time when they had 2. I don't know if it was a few months ago or a couple of years ago. So if we have a problem on Pier Plaza in the middle of the night where we have a fight or what have you that requires an ambulance, and the ambulance is dispatched there, and then you have a real health emergency at your house, then that next ambulance will have to come either from Manhattan or from Redondo. So it's a significant risk to our public safety. So I think, as Councilman Tucker mentioned, it's very important for us to keep the resources for our police and for the firefighters. I think, as I mentioned before, as far as the Pier Plaza and the downtown area goes, I think we need to reach out to the tavern owners to work with them to have resources available so that our police force is not basically entirely on the Pier Plaza on the weekends, which in my experience, the one night that I went out there, they were. And they need to be out there in other areas of the city that requires police and requires firefighters. Our police chief presented to the city council a few weeks ago a program called Program Shush, which I think is being used at the Belmont Shores in Long Beach. And I think he's still looking into various aspects of it. It's a program that where, the tavern owners work with the police chief or the police force to regulate their customers and make sure that when they're leaving, they're going back to their house, to the cabs or what have you, and limiting the need for the police to manage them when they leave their establishments, rather than having our entire police chief on the downtown area. I think that's very important. I think we have a great police force and a great fire department, and I think we just need to provide them the resources that they need and work with our tavern owners to make them less needed for the downtown area and more available for the other areas in the city. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Okay, we'll go to closing statements, and that'll be it. Michael, you're first up.
Great, thank you, Al. Thank you for hosting this evening's debate. I'm pleased to be invited to be here with you. And I want to thank everybody coming, certainly in the audience, taking the time out of your night, Wednesday night to be here, and anybody watching from home. As I said in my opening statement, I've been very proud to represent this community. I think that it is one of the most remarkable communities on the planet. Our innovative spirit produces some terrific results, and I want to continue being a part of the City Council so that I can help solve some of the problems we have that certainly have real solutions out there. We just need to continue to find a innovative